Hello, we are live with another episode of BS Busters. And I guess for the first part of this is going to be a solo cast, but what the hell? If you have any questions, leave them in the Q&A app. Or you can do me this favor, and I'm going to put a link in the chat section. If you click on that and leave a question in that particular discussion on discus, I can answer your questions. But before we get into that, let's get into some of the topics we've got going on, which, I mean, I'm kind of happy about some of these topics. I think they're kind of cool. So basically today, tonight's BS Busters will be talking about, well, one of my personal favorites, Metroid. What they could do for Metroid on the Switch. Now, Switch has HD Rumble, which would make the door opening, the key opening, and some of the motion controls they had on Metroid Prime 3 Corruption on the Wii look like a little kid playing with Tonka toys. I think that they'll be able to really make it seem to be much more in-depth. So with that being said, I'm just saying I think this could really work. I also think that ultimately a Metroid game on the Switch could be an awesome thing. I think in terms of how I feel, I think Metroid is one of Nintendo's franchises that it has a dedicated fan base, but I think there's two ways that Metroid can go, and there's a question pertaining to this topic, so I'm going to read it off before I go any further, and that is, how can people? Let's see, where's this question is for. It's from Pinky Don. Cool dude. So, do I think Metroid Switch title will overhaul Ridley so they can have a chance to appear on the next Smash Brothers game as a playable character? A lot of fans want a new Metroid rep that's not another variation of Samus and more villain reps. The reason devs couldn't was due to both balancing purposes and not wanting to ruin his character by nerfing him. Well, I personally just don't want to see Ridley as a playable character in a Metroid game. It's just a personal thing. I don't want to see Ridley in a Metroid game. I like Ridley. I really do. I think Ridley is cool, but I don't like. Smash Brothers, in my opinion, already has some of the strongest villains in the Nintendo multiverse. It has Ganon. It has Bowser. It has Donkey Kong. Yes, Donkey Kong was originally a villain. It has Wolf, or they used to. He was a villain, or at least an antagonist, if not a straight-up villain. So I really think that I don't necessarily want to see a Smash Brothers game with Ridley as the villain. Do I think they could do it? Probably. I mean, all they'd have to do is make him a little bit smaller. Like maybe make him a little bit smaller. Maybe make him like he's a big character, but make him lighter than, say, a Bowser or a Donkey Kong, and whatever. Like I think it could totally work if they knew what they were doing. Let's see, we got some more questions here. We have another question from the skeptical Kira. would I like to see a remake of an older Metroid game in HD or a completely reworked game to the Switch? Or would I like to see a brand new game in the series as a whole? And the person says, to be honest, I don't mind either option. The last game I played was Fusion, and that was some time ago. Well, to be fair, like, I'm a Metroid fan. I really am. And I like both, but me personally, I would rather see I would rather see them do both. I would rather see them take the Metroid Prime trilogy, just like take the Metroid Prime trilogy, HD them up, and put them on the Switch. I think that could totally work with the two Joy-Cons, which are basically next-gen Wiimotes. Wiimote 3.0. I think that that could work to reintroduce Metroid Prime to people. And then maybe you could do Metroid Prime, the next Metroid Prime, also on the system, but make it bigger, make bigger worlds, all that jazz. I also think there needs to be a new iteration in the 2D Metroid franchise, but I would rather see that on the 3DS or whatever Nintendo's next handheld is. Because, I mean, the fact of the matter is that you can't, unless they triple the amount of content in a 2D Metroid game, you can't charge someone $60 for a 2D Metroid game anymore. It's just because they're designed to be played and to be beaten in under 3 hours to get the best ending. They're based on time and not finding stuff, so the exploration is kind of meh. So I don't think that is a viable property, if you will. But yeah, I'd like to see both. As a matter of fact, I think they could HD and rework all the Metroid Prime trilogy, and then do the ultimate 2D Metroid package that would have a reworked Zero Mission, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Super Metroid, and then Metroid Fusion. They could totally do that for the handheld. Now, that's a $60 game because you get 4 games for $60. That's a steal. Maybe have trophies added to it. Not trophies, but achievements, whatever. I think that could be a totally good title. Why do people just easily assume that the Switch will flat out? Oh, we have a Switch question. This is from Matt Jazz 47. Why do people just assume that the Switch will flat out replace the 3DS when the Switch does not have asymmetric gameplay, street passing, and other features that is incorporated in the handheld games? Well, we don't know if it doesn't have asymmetric gameplay. They might have asymmetric gameplay for Splatoon 2. They might have some way of doing that. But you're right. It doesn't have street passing. It doesn't have the other features. I don't know why people make the assumption. I guess because in their head it's a 2D system. I mean, it's a handheld. Personally, I don't think the Switch is a handheld. I think the Switch is like the GameCube, except instead of you having to unplug your system when you go from point A to point B, you can leave it on or put it in sleep mode and take it over there and share it with your friends. But ultimately, this is it's a console that's portable to an extent. Because that battery life, though, I mean, I think if you have 2 people playing this, the battery life is going to go faster than if you're just playing it by yourself. And I don't think even with battery technology getting better, I don't think that's going to change much. And it shouldn't, because I mean, it's primarily a home console, and I'm okay with that. If people don't like it, well, I don't know what to say, bro. But yeah, I don't see the Switch replacing the 3DS anytime soon. Now, do I think that Nintendo, once they launch the Switch, maybe a year into it, do I think they'll start working on their next home console? And do I think the next home console will be insanely powerful and something like, when I say powerful, I mean more efficient at using a minimum amount of power consumption in order to give you better graphics, better this, better that. I do think that'll happen, and I do think they'll go more of a traditional console route, and they might come out with something like the Switch that's backwards compatible with 3DS, maybe even the DS in the future. But the Switch as it is right now is a home console, and that's it. If people don't like it, well, I don't know what to say. Our next question is another one from Matt Jazz 47, which is, how can people say that you are not forced to buy a Pro controller when the controller that is packed with the Switch does not have a D-pad, which is great for 2D side scrollers and 2D fighters? Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know how this controller is. I don't know how this, until I get my hands on the controller, I don't want to say I'm going to need a Pro controller. Like, when I go to the private event February 10th, I will definitely get my hands on the system, and I will do a special Q&A all about, like, I'll give my thoughts, and then I'll do a Q&A. So I want people to ask me questions, and I'll attempt to get them answered when I do the thing February 10th. And February 10th is going to be 2 weeks from now. So 2 weeks from now, February 10th, we'll see, we'll see what we can see, But for me personally, I like the, I'm more of a fan, like, I'm going to get a Pro controller, more than likely, like, I'm leaning towards more towards getting one. But, if the controller that comes with it gets the job done, then I'll just stick with it, That's how I feel at this point. So let's see. Once again, for those who are listening, if you click on the link in the live chat, you can leave a question in my Q&A for today's BS Busters, which is turned into a solo cast because no one who said they were showing up showed up. So fuck it. The show must go on. So here are some of my ideas for Metroid, and since I'm here, I can kind of go in depth because I'm the only one. I don't have to share the spotlight with anyone. The thing that always kind of bothered me with the Metroid Prime series, and more than likely you're going to have a Metroid Prime-esque game. If a Metroid game is going to be put on the Switch, it's going to be a Metroid Prime-esque game probably. One of the things that bothered me about Metroid Prime is that Samus is a bounty hunter in this huge world, and this world needs to be expounded upon. I would like to see a Metroid game that maybe has hub cities. Not a hub city, hub cities. Like maybe there's 6 worlds and maybe 3 of them have cities, like major cities, like people walking around doing stuff. Maybe for once you can see Samus actually get paid for a bounty, like her actually getting money, which you can then spend to do basic upgrades to her ship. Like for the special stuff like missile launchers and stealth fields and grappling hooks, okay, you have to do your traditional Metroid type formula. I went to this planet and it was upgraded, but for like, I upgraded the armor a little bit. I made the guns, I added more I made the guns slightly more powerful. She actually takes the money that she gets, the credits, and actually, spends it. Maybe you can have a sub-tank a health expansion that actually she has to buy, and it's not just found. Like, it's somewhere in this area, but, oh, wait, it's 10,000 credits. Okay, boom, I bought it. That'd be cool because, I mean, we're told Samus is a bounty hunter, but I've never actually seen her accept bounties. I think the combat system could be made really cool with the HD Rumble. Like when you charge her power beam, like you could feel the rumble in your hand. Maybe when you upgrade the power beam, maybe it has different levels of charge. So like a low level, mid level, high level, maybe different levels of charge change the effect of the shot. I think like all these things could be really cool. The sky is really the limit. Maybe you could add a crafting component where Samus could craft custom missiles. And like they could do different types of damage. Instead of the prototypical, you found an ice missile, you found a hyper missile, you defeated a boss and got the hyper missile. I think that would be a nice little aside for the system. For a Metroid game. I mean, you know, that's just my feelings. I could be wrong or right. I have no idea, but that's how I feel. Let's see, what else? I mean, that's basically how I feel about the Metroid series. I also hope that if they do a Metroid series, I would like, if they do a Metroid game on the Switch, I would like to see them bring back the guy who did the music for the Metroid Prime series, because that music was really cool. I think with the technology the way it is now, they could really make it look off the wall. I mean, this could be arguably the biggest Metroid game ever, with exploration and all that stuff. I don't want to be, I would like to see it where I would not be confined to one damn planet the entire time like they did in 1 and 2. I like the concept of going to different planets. Maybe have some planets that haven't been overrun by pirates, so you can see like some friendly residents who aren't trying to kill me all the time. That'd be cool too. Once again, if anyone wants to leave any questions, if you click on the link that I put in the live chat, if you click on that, you can leave a question on Discus, which is easier than trying to do whatever. Because trying to ask questions in live chat sucks. Because I'm not even looking at the live chat, so that's why it's easier just to do it that way. Anyway, so yeah, I would like to see Metroid turn into that type of system, that type of game. Yeah, Poppy 2K Gaming, you're right. But I already said that early on in the podcast. I said that Metroid, like if Nintendo really wants to reintroduce Metroid to people, because Federation Force, while I love that game, was very divisive to the fan base. I think that if they basically took the 2D Metroids, maybe tweaked them a bit so that they worked on an HD console, and you know, your Metroid Zero Mission, your Metroid 2 Return of Samus, your Metroid, your Super Metroid, and your Metroid Fusion. They took those 4 games and basically like smashed them together into one game. Maybe changed the engine for Metroid 2 to make it more like Zero Mission and Fusion. Maybe tweaked Super Metroid to have a similar type engine, maybe even the same. This wouldn't happen this year. This probably happened next year, or you know, whatever. And release that for, I mean, if they did that for the 3DS, that'd be great, but you could put that on the Switch. And maybe if they re-release Metroid Prime Trilogy, HD'd it up a little bit, more so than they did on the Wii U, I think that would be a very nice thing. Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Metroid is ultimately a very niche franchise. So it's just there's not much you can really do, you know? I mean, it's like most people who claim they love Metroid only, you know, like they only played one of the primes and they're like, I'm a fan of the series. It's like, there's so much more to it than that. It's like someone saying, I like Mexican food. Okay, what do you like? Tacos. It's like there's so much more to Mexican food than just tacos. You know? You know? I mean, that's how it feels when people say they're Metroid fans, but they only played one Metroid. Oh, So you would like to see a Mass Effect Metroid? Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool if they took a Mass Effect route with the Metroid franchise. The only thing I would have to say is I would not want to play as Samus because Samus is so iconic. It would be weird to play as Samus, but you could totally do it if you were a group of Marines or just normal dudes trying to survive with Metroids and pirates, because the universe of Metroid could totally be on par with a Mass Effect or even to an extent a Star Wars universe. If people can understand that. The only real caveat I have for Metroid is I wish people were a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I wish people were a bit more aware of what Metroid is, because Metroid originally began as a 2D series, and then it turned into a 3D series, and like a lot of the people who are quote unquote fan of Metroid, like they only played the original Metroid Prime, and it's like, you know, the series got better after the original Metroid Prime, which is a good game, but it has some issues that kind of bring it down a little bit. Like Echoes is better than Prime. Corruption is just damn fun. Like that is a fun game. Like when you get the PED phase-on enhancement device implanted in your suit. It's like, oh, I only have to give up a little bit of health and I can destroy people. Okay, cool. There you go. Samus has an annihilator cannon that can destroy everything. But yeah, I'm a huge Metroid fan. Love it. I think it's a good game. The only downside with Prime that I think is that, like, Prime 1 was a little too successful, and so a lot of people who got into Metroid because of Prime don't appreciate the rest of the history of the series. A Mass Effect style Metroid will help to expand the Metroid series. Maybe. I mean, like, here's the thing. I would love a Mass Effect style Metroid in the Metroid series. Would it expand the series? It could, because it would be so different from what people would know that they might get curious and jump into it. I think they really tried to expand the series with Federation Force, but people weren't having it because they thought it was you weren't playing as Samus. You know, and they got their ass up on their shoulders about it because some people are lame. But lame. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, I mean, I guess we've gone through all the topics. There's really no place else to go with it. We answered all the questions. We did what we had to do. So with that, I guess it's time to cover the final topic, which is kind of not about Metroid, but I'm okay with it. So this is the part where I pimp out what I'm doing in the future. So in 2 weeks, February 10th, I'll be going to the event for Smash for the Switch, the private event. So that Sunday on the 5th, February 5th, I will drop. I will open a discus where you can leave your questions about what you want me to ask or try and ascertain from my one-on-one. So 3-hour one-on-one thing. So just kind of like, you know, let me have the, when I open it up, just, you know, do whatever. Tomorrow I'll open up the discus for Sunday's BS Buster. Or not Sunday, next week's BS Buster on February the 3rd. or not the 3rd, the 4th. So look forward to that, and that's it. I guess it's time to wrap things up. This was a fun experience, and I'm glad you could join me. Remember, rate, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to leave questions, the best way to do it is via the discuss the discuss page when I open up a new discuss thing, because it's hard keeping up with questions on YouTube and all that with the YouTube chat app. It's a pain in the ass. I would say Twitter, but I don't tweet. I have a Twitter, but I don't really use it. So, so with that being said, this is the shortest BS Busters ever. So peace out and have a good day.